So I've gotten a little bit of the prep work out of the way. Here's my palette, lots of colors, and right here in the middle is where I have fresh colors. Starting off with yellow, cadmium yellow. Cadmium colors, you got to be a little careful, some health problems, but as long as you aren't breathing it, you'll be okay. Bright red, phthalo blue, and then a mud of leftover colors scraped together. And I just kind of got something here going from cool to warm, okay? And we just want to make sure it's not slanted. So up in my sky there's some clouds. And maybe something floating right here. And I'm going to keep it a little darker here because the light's coming from here. So more clouds here, less over here. And then down at the bottom here, let's see, something like this. Here's the foam coming up front. Yeah, something about like that. And all down here is just going to be a sunlit area. Yeah, something in here. The sun's creeping. Just planning right now, nothing too much. And this wave's just going to come up a little bit, just like that. Come down. And it's done. Okay. So here's this breaking wave. If you didn't see that video on shapes, you're going to want to check that out. Okay? It tells a lot about the anatomy of waves, and not just the anatomy, but how to make them a little more interesting. So what I want to do is I want to start layering things. So layer something here, everything is on top of one another, okay? Overlapping. Always want to overlap. Something here. This one joins up. Keep the view right in here. Do have a nice image to work from. That's always nice. And then maybe over here. This is my muddy color, and we'll just throw in some rock shapes. So the rocks on the edges, you want usually a little bit stronger strokes, okay? When I say strong strokes, I mean blocky. So sharp vertical strokes, usually good for rocks. They give it that character that you're looking for. Take it right off the side there. Right off the side. And anytime I have a dark color, I want to keep the color thin, because if I keep the color thin, it minimizes the number of ridges of paint which reflect back unwanted highlights and unwanted glare. When you allow the paint that's dark to have texture, the light bounces off of it so much more in the areas where it reflects off, because you have such a big difference between the dark and the reflecting light. So that's always something to be careful of, keeping the dark color thin. You can do that by adding a little oil to it, or just being careful not to add too much paint. This paint, because it's leftover muddy color, does have some extra oil in it, which makes it easier to spread and does all sorts of wonderful things. A couple rocks in here. Yeah. Okay, more later. Now I'm going to start blocking in color. And the first one I want to work with is the sky color, because it kind of sets the tone for everything else. And let's start with the middle color. This red, which is a mixture of red and yellow and white, is important that there's not too much yellow in it, because what's going to happen is it's going to blend into a blue-gray or a purple-gray, and if there's a lot of yellow in it, it's going to make a green that you weren't expecting. So anytime you're working with a sunset, always make sure that you're graying your colors, or you're just not adding too much yellow and blue, because honestly, the greens, when they pop up in the sky, usually aren't what you want. Sometimes, but you really got to plan the painting that way if that's how you want it to be. Okay, a little more over here. Go down, something like this. And notice I've left this area out, and I've left all this out. Okay, now I want to put in the gray colors. So, let me just grab some here. Let's start off over here. Oh, it's going to be nice. It's going to be nice. Now I'm going to mix a little bit with the warm color. And come right along here. And just start trying to blend these together a little bit. Get right down to the horizon. Anytime you're blending, go ahead and use a brush you don't mind beating up. This brush is old and honestly it should be thrown away, but it's too useful. Too useful for things like this. And if the paint's too thin, like right here, you can do two things. You can either put some oil in the paint to help it mix onto the canvas and blend, or you can go ahead and just put more paint on, which I prefer to put more paint on usually, because sometimes if you add oil, it starts getting messier than you intended. Okay. And then as you blend and pull, the lighter you pull, the smoother your coverage will be. So somewhere over here, if I pull really gently, I actually will fill up some of the space in the canvas where it's not filling in. So let's look at the clouds. This cloud here should be this same value in color. And these clouds over here will be a little bit darker. So let's work on this one first to get it in there. And just soften the edges of it. And then I want to add some more red. Just finish filling that up there. There we go, there we go. And put some of that red all along the cloud's edge. This one here is about the same as here. And this one's going to be darker. So I grab my cool color. Look at that. Look at that. And almost just blend out here. Almost just lose it. And we'll throw in some more here and there. Okay. Put that one down for now. I'm going to go to my yellow. Yellow. Right here. Right in there. See how bright it is. And then I'm going to go to my intermediate orange color. And see, here's my palettes. Yellow. And look at the pure yellow. It's much lighter, much more intense than this one. But look at how it compares. Everything's about the comparison. It's all about the relationships on the canvas. So sometimes colors can be brighter than you planned them to be, which is why it's important to pre-mix them on your palette and then adjust them as you paint. I just want to get it down to the edge before I blend it together. And this one we'll just blend up into it. Okay. We'll outline a little cloud there.